The Ford Zephyr is one of those cars that quietly shaped automotive history without always getting the recognition it deserves. When it first appeared in the early 1950s, it represented a bold shift for Ford, especially outside the United States. It wasn't just another family sedan, it was a statement of modern design, engineering confidence, and a glimpse into a future where cars were becoming more than simple transportation. The Zephyr arrived at a time when the world was recovering from war, and people wanted comfort, style, and reliability, all wrapped into something affordable. Originally launched in 1950 as part of Ford of Britain's new post-war lineup, the Zephyr was positioned above the Ford Consul but below the larger, more luxurious Ford Zodiac. What immediately set it apart was its use of a straight-six engine, something that was relatively uncommon in affordable European cars at the time. While many competitors relied on smaller four-cylinder engines, the Zephyr offered smoother power delivery and a more refined driving experience. This alone gave it an edge among middle-class buyers who wanted something that felt just a bit special. Design-wise, the early Ford Zephyr models carried a very American influence, which was no accident. Ford wanted the car to look modern and aspirational, borrowing cues from US styling trends while adapting them to narrower European roads. Rounded body lines, a prominent grille, and a long bonnet gave the Zephyr a confident presence. Compared to the boxy pre-war cars still on the road, it looked futuristic, even a little glamorous. Inside, it offered generous space for passengers, especially for its time, making it popular with families and taxi operators alike. Under the bonnet, the early Zephyr featured a 2.3-litre inline-six engine, producing modest power by modern standards but more than enough for the era. The real advantage wasn't outright speed but smoothness. The six-cylinder layout made cruising more comfortable, especially on longer journeys. Paired with a 3-speed manual transmission, the car was easy to drive and forgiving, which helped broaden its appeal to drivers of varying experience levels. As the years went on, the Zephyr evolved. The Mark II, introduced in 1956, brought sharper styling and improved mechanicals. The body became more angular, reflecting changing design trends, and the interior saw improvements in materials and layout. Ford was clearly listening to customer feedback, refining the car rather than reinventing it. This approach worked, as the Zephyr continued to sell strongly not only in the UK but also in export markets. One of the most important markets for the Ford Zephyr was Australia and New Zealand. In these countries, the Zephyr found a second home. The combination of solid construction, smooth six-cylinder power, and spacious interiors made it well suited to long distances and rougher road conditions. Australian assembled versions became a common sight, whether cruising city streets or tackling rural highways. For many families, the Zephyr became the car associated with road trips, holidays, and everyday life. The Mark III, released in 1962, marked a significant leap forward. This version adopted a more modern, squared-off design, moving away from the rounded shapes of earlier models. It looked confident and contemporary, aligning with the global shift toward cleaner, more angular styling. The engine lineup was updated as well, with increased power and better performance. Braking and suspension improvements made the car feel more stable and predictable, especially at higher speeds. By the time the Mark IV arrived in 1966, the Zephyr had matured into a genuinely sophisticated vehicle. It offered features that were considered advanced for its class, including improved safety elements and a more refined interior. This version was often praised for its comfortable ride and balanced handling. While it still wasn't a sports car, it delivered a level of confidence on the road that many competitors struggled to match. Despite its many strengths, the Ford Zephyr eventually faced increasing competition. The automotive world was changing rapidly in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Buyers were beginning to expect more efficiency, more features, and increasingly, more compact designs. Ford itself was shifting focus, and the Zephyr nameplate was eventually phased out in favor of newer models that better matched emerging market demands. Today, the Ford Zephyr holds a special place among classic car enthusiasts. It represents a time when carmakers were experimenting, blending American influence with local engineering to create something unique. Restored examples often turn heads at car shows, not because they are flashy or extreme, but because they embody a certain understated elegance. The long bonnet, simple lines, and unmistakable presence evoke an era when driving was as much about the journey as the destination. For collectors, the Zephyr offers an appealing balance. It is historically significant, yet still relatively attainable compared to some other classics. Parts availability, especially in countries where the car was popular, remains reasonably good, and the mechanical simplicity makes it approachable for hobbyists. Many owners enjoy working on their Zephyrs themselves, forming a strong connection with the car in the process. Driving a Ford Zephyr today is a reminder of how far the automotive world has come. The steering is heavier, the brakes require more anticipation, and the engine demands a gentler, more involved driving style. Yet that is precisely what many enthusiasts love about it. It encourages patience, awareness, and a deeper appreciation for the mechanics at work. Every drive feels deliberate, every mile earned. Beyond its mechanical and design qualities, the Zephyr also carries cultural significance. It was a car that symbolized progress and aspiration for countless families. Owning a Zephyr often meant you had made it, to a certain degree, stepping up from more basic transportation to something with comfort and style. It appeared in period films, advertisements, and family photo albums, quietly embedding itself into everyday history. In retrospect, the Ford Zephyr may not have been revolutionary in a single dramatic way, but its importance lies in how well it did so many things at once. It bridged gaps between classes, between continents, and between eras of automotive design. It showed that a practical family car could also be smooth, stylish, and enjoyable to drive. As classic cars continue to gain appreciation, the Zephyr stands as a reminder that not all legends are loud or exotic. Some earn their place through consistency, reliability, and an ability to fit seamlessly into people's lives. The Ford Zephyr did exactly that, and decades later, its legacy continues to roll on, carried forward by enthusiasts who understand that true automotive history isn't just about speed or luxury, but about the cars that shaped everyday experiences for millions.